Toys to life. Now almost synonymous with products like Amiibo and Skylanders, was one of the most lucrative branches of the video game industry. At the height of its popularity, it involved a multitude of different companies, but in recent times it's been abandoned due to the expense of the platform. No one wants to spend $60 on a full retail game where extra content is locked out behind physical paywalls of little figurines. But before the full economy crashed and it was still interesting, Moose Toys gave it a go in 2007. The Skanmaster line of toys was released as a starter set, including the handheld device with a figure, with an additional 15 figures available separately. Not a lot of information is available about this franchise, as it was quickly forgotten by both Moose and the gaming public, and does not even feature on the Toys to Life Wikipedia page. I was unable to find how much these starter sets retailed for initially due to their obscurity, but I do remember gifting one to a friend when they were around $20, and this was most likely during the stage when they were being clearanced. My original box, which I bought in Australia, is long gone, but I managed to pick up this box here for around $10, including shipping from Japan, and it does show all of the box art and the packaging itself, which was good to see again. Inside the box we have the battle scanner itself, one of the Skanmaster warriors, in this case Higer, a Series 1 game cartridge, an instruction book / poster, and a link cable, which is just an auxiliary cable used for multiplayer. The device itself is very basic in terms of the amount of control it actually gives you, but most of the gameplay is either turn-based or very primitive, so that isn't actually much of an issue. In the back we have the battery compartment, which houses 3 AAA batteries, and here is where you would plug in the game cartridge, which is where the game itself is stored, if I understand correctly. I only have the Series 1 game cartridge because, as far as I know, that is all that was released. Above the screen, under the logo, is where you place the figures, and it contains the scanning hardware. The figures themselves are around 2.5 inches tall, so about the same height as an Amiibo without the stand. They're quite solid, not as solid as an Amiibo, and have a slight rubbery feel to them, so they sort of give a bit when you squeeze them, versus the more rigid Amiibos. Most of the ones I have are pretty well designed, with the wolf character Grendel being my favourite. One of the feet contain the chip, so when they're set down on the device they are scanned into the game. Speaking of which, the gameplay consists of a 3v3 battle, where you and the enemy take turns attacking and defending, where you choose the 3 figures you would like to go into battle with, and then when you're actually in the battle you would choose who is attacking, what weapon or ability they are using, and what enemy they are attacking. The amount of damage dealt is determined by this meter, kinda like the power meter in sports games like Wii Sports. Each character has their own list of attacks and abilities, so there does seem to be a difference between them, but not enough really to justify buying the entire set. After each battle you can scan all of your characters again to give them XP from the battle, with each level gained unlocking better stats and attacks. In addition to the main combat, there are also training minigames which can boost your stats. Most of these aren't too interesting other than the archery minigame, which I found to be quite enjoyable, as it is not held back by the limited control. Despite the absolute pitiful XP given from these battles and the amount of time they actually take to complete, it's quite astounding that I managed to get a multitude of characters maxed to 999 XP. Really shows my priorities back in 2007. Overall, the combat and the minigames for the system are a bit too basic and repetitive to keep most kids' attention, even back in 2007. So it's no wonder that a lot of the figures and the starter sets ended up in discount stores. But if you do manage to find the figures cheap, or are interested in any of the starter sets that are still readily available on eBay, I would definitely recommend giving them a go. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you next time.
The more you battle, the more powerful you become! Collect them all and challenge your friends in linked battle mode. New Skanmaster Warriors and Battle Scanner. Now for Moose.